Hey guys, this is Dave, and we're here with a very different type of video today. So, I just wanted to briefly make a video about how and why I became a Heat fan. Mostly because I didn't really have an idea for any kind of video to make for today, and I wanted to just get something out. So, thought this would be interesting for the people who are wondering how I became a Heat fan in New York, or why I became a Heat fan in New York. Because most people would be, a Knicks fan or a Nets fan, something like that, they'd stick to New York teams. And the funny thing is, in every other sport, I stick to New York teams, but it's just basketball, I deviated a little bit. And I'm going to explain to you guys why that's the case. The first reason, which I think was the most important one, my dad was not very big into basketball. He liked the Knicks, but he wasn't really very much invested into it. He'd watch a game or two here and there, but he didn't really watch every single game or watch most of the games like some people would. And because of that, I wasn't really that interested in basketball for the most part, growing up to a certain extent. And I would mostly watch football because when I was younger, that was the only sport I really found to be interesting to me. And around the time of 2007, I remember going to the store and picking up a copy of NBA 2K, or NBA Live '07. Sorry. And at the time, even though I didn't watch a lot of basketball, Dwayne Wade was my absolute favorite player, and he was drafted by the Heat. So instantly, I had a little bit of a liking towards the Heat because they drafted him. So rather than just being a Dwayne Wade fan, I decided to just become a Heat fan. And because my dad wasn't a fan of any other team super heavy, I felt like I could just become a fan of whatever team I wanted. I just had that freedom to do so. And as long as I didn't bandwagon, which some people do accuse me of doing, that I'd be alright. So that was the first thing. The second thing was, during that year, yes, they did win the championship, so I could understand why someone would say I'm a bandwagon. But they also had Shaq at the time, and Shaq was also one of my favorite players. He's probably my second favorite player of all time. And around that time in middle school, I also even had the Shaqs back in the day. So they were definitely my two favorite players, and I really respected their game. And I thought they were just really talented, those two guys. And together, they just were a really solid duo in the NBA. And I liked the dynamic they had between each other. The third favorite player of mine, just because of the story line of it all, leading up to them winning the first championship they had, was Alonzo Mourning. And how he went out with injury for a bit because he had that rare kidney disease. Came back after having surgery on his kidney eventually, and he ended up helping them a decent amount that year that he came back. So I thought that was really inspiring that someone could have something that debilitating and then just come back and still be a solid player. He wasn't like the marquee guy, obviously, after all that. And he was definitely getting older, but I just found that really inspiring. And also, I always thought Dwayne Wade, still to this day, always feel like he's just an excellent person on top of being an excellent player. And he sort of became a role model for me. And just the way he carried himself, I just aspired to be that sort of way growing up. And yeah, that was a big part of it. And then, even though I was a Heat fan around that time, I wasn't still a vehement supporter like I am now. I would watch a couple games here and there when they were on. But I didn't really know too much about the team. I would just watch them when I could, when I felt like it was a good game to watch, or if it was a rivalry game. And then around the time of 2009, I started to watch a bit more games, and I went to the NBA store and picked up a few things. I believe it was that year. It might have actually been 2008. But this hoodie that I'm wearing right now, this Heat hoodie, I got way back in the day, around the time that I started to be a Heat fan. And this was way too big a sweatshirt at the time. So I would wear it, and it looked like a hand-me-down because it was so big on me, and I looked fucking ridiculous. But I would just wear it anyway because I was just proud to be a fan. And I was just proud that Wade was the part of the team, and Shaq was a part of the team, and Alonzo Mourning was a part of the team. So when Shaq got traded, I was completely devastated, especially because I still had the Shaquille O'Neal shoes. But anyways, we went to the NBA store, got this, and got a few other things, and then that just solidified it a little bit more, because now I had like the threads to go along with watching the games a little bit, having a little bit of knowledge, and watching a few more games every now and then than I was a couple years prior to that. And slowly, over the years, I just started to get more and more into basketball. Around the time that there were rumors that they were going to get LeBron, I was a little bit more interested. Because I knew of LeBron, but I didn't really know too much about him and his game, because I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't very well versed in like all parts of the NBA. I just really knew like the Heat and like one or two other teams, and that was about it. I knew of the Pistons, I knew of the Knicks, I knew about the New Jersey Nets when they were the New Jersey Nets at the time. But I didn't really know too much. So once I heard that they were supposedly going to try signing him in free agency and Chris Bosh, I was like, well, who's Chris Bosh? Because I didn't know him at the time, but I knew of LeBron, so I was like, let me get more interested. Let me figure out, what's going on. Are they actually gonna, get these guys? And if they would, like, how would that work? Like, wouldn't they want a lot of money? I was asking all these questions, trying to figure out if it was actually like feasible. and I just got a little bit more interested in the NBA because of that as well. Because it's like, well, if they're going to sign all these guys, how much are they going to cost? Who would they get rid of? Would they have to trade some people? You know, how is this going to work? Are they going to work as a team for the team dynamic? Because I didn't really know how it would work out. And then they went on the run that they did. But even after that run that they had, after LeBron went back to Miami and Bosh had the blood clots, I still stuck with them through all of that. And still stuck with them to today. So, I don't know. I wouldn't consider myself a bandwagon. Because, like I said, I stick to the Heat. I've never rooted for another team. Unless it was going to help them get better playoff position or something like that. Or it was against a Miami Heat rival. And the other team was a team that I was just indifferent towards. Then I might. But generally speaking, I only root for the Heat. Unless it's like benefiting them in some way. The other matchup. So, I don't know. You guys could give your opinions if you want on whether or not you think I'm a bandwagon. I could take the Heat. We could debate it back and forth. It'd be a fun time. And also, if you want, put in the comment section how you guys became fans of whatever team that you became fans of in the NBA. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.